My security camera recorded someone who wasn't there. I never thought I'd become obsessed with checking security camera footage. A year ago, after several car break-ins happened in my neighborhood, I installed a security camera above my front door. It was a basic camera with motion detection that sent alerts directly to my phone. For the first 2 weeks, everything was normal. Then one morning, I woke up to a motion alert recorded at 3:13 a.m. When I opened the video, someone was standing at the end of my driveway. The person wasn't moving. They were simply staring directly into the camera. Because of the night vision, I couldn't make out their face. After about 15 seconds, they slowly turned around and disappeared into the darkness. The next night, it happened again. 3:13 a.m. The same person, standing in the exact same place, watching the camera. After 3 nights, I decided to stay awake. At exactly 3:13, my phone vibrated. Motion detected. I looked through my front window. The street was completely empty. No person, no movement, nothing. But when I looked at the live camera feed, the figure was still standing there. The camera could see someone, but my own eyes couldn't. I replayed the footage over and over. Everything else looked perfectly normal. Cars drove by. Trees moved in the wind. Only the figure didn't make sense. I tried convincing myself it was just a camera glitch. Then, a few nights later, the figure had moved closer. Instead of standing at the end of the driveway, it was now halfway to my house. Every night after that, it came a little closer. It never ran. It never spoke. It only stood there, watching. By the 8th recording, it was standing directly outside my front door. That night, I didn't sleep. I watched the live camera feed while sitting in complete darkness. At 3:13 a.m., another alert appeared. The figure filled almost the entire screen. It was only inches from the camera. I looked through the peephole. Nothing. The porch was empty. Then the figure slowly raised one hand and pointed directly at the camera. The screen instantly went black. The camera disconnected. I threw open the front door. Nobody was there. The next morning, I removed the camera and returned it. The technician tested it and said it worked perfectly. A month later, curiosity got the better of me. I bought a brand new camera from another company. Everything was normal until one night. At exactly 3:13 a.m., my phone vibrated again. I never checked the notification, and I never installed another security camera. The camera started moving on its own. A few years ago, I worked the night shift at a large warehouse on the outskirts of town. The building had over 30 security cameras. Most of them were fixed in place and couldn't move. Every night, my job was simple. Sit in the control room, watch the monitors, and report anything unusual. Nothing ever happened. Until one Thursday night, at exactly 2:47 a.m., one of the cameras slowly began turning by itself. It wasn't a motorized camera. It wasn't designed to move. But on the monitor, I watched it slowly rotate toward a dark storage hallway that was always empty. Then it stopped. I immediately called another guard to inspect the area. He searched the hallway from one end to the other. Nobody was there. We assumed the camera mount had come loose. The maintenance team checked it the next morning. Everything was secure. The following night, it happened again. 2:47 a.m. The camera slowly turned toward the same hallway, always at the same speed, always stopping at the exact same angle. I began reviewing older recordings. To my surprise, the same thing had happened several times over the past month. Nobody had noticed because the camera returned to its normal position before the morning shift. A week later, I decided to stand in that hallway before 2:47. I wanted to see what the camera was looking at. The warehouse was silent. Only the hum of the lights echoed through the building. At exactly 2:47, my radio crackled. The guard in the control room said, "The camera just turned toward you." I looked around. Nothing. Then he spoke again. "Wait. It looks like you're not alone." My heart dropped. I spun around. The hallway was empty. I asked him what he meant. There was a long silence. Finally, he whispered, "I can see someone standing right behind you." I ran. I didn't stop until I reached the control room. We replayed the footage immediately. The camera had clearly turned toward me. For a single second, a tall, dark figure stood only a few feet behind me. Then it was gone. The next morning, management replaced the camera. It never moved again. But I still remember what my coworker said before I reached the control room. I never saw anyone leave that hallway. I resigned 2 days later. Sometimes I still wonder if the camera wasn't malfunctioning at all. Maybe it was trying to warn us